Let me tell you the incredible story of Lot, a man whose life was literally saved by angels. It's one of those dramatic tales from the Bible that really shows how things can go from bad to worse, and then somehow work out in the most unexpected ways. Picture this. Lot was living in Sodom, an ancient city that had become so wicked and corrupt that God had decided it needed to go. But here's where it gets interesting. God sent 2 angels disguised as travelers to the city. When these angels arrived, Lot was sitting at the city gates, and unlike most people in Sodom, he showed them incredible hospitality, inviting them to stay at his house. Now this is where things get intense. That night, pretty much every man in Sodom surrounded Lot's house, demanding to meet these visitors, and trust me, they didn't have friendly intentions. Lot, trying to protect his guests, even offered his own daughters instead, which I know sounds absolutely shocking to us today. But it shows just how desperate the situation had become. But here's the thing, these weren't ordinary guests. The angels struck all the men with blindness, creating complete chaos outside. Then they revealed their true purpose to Lot. This city is about to be destroyed. You need to get out of here, and fast. The angels literally had to grab Lot, his wife, and his 2 daughters by the hands and drag them out of the city. Talk about divine intervention. They were told to run for the mountains and not look back. Unfortunately, Lot's wife couldn't resist that one simple rule. She looked back and was turned into a pillar of salt. You know what's fascinating about this story? It's not just about divine rescue. It's about how sometimes we can find ourselves in situations so bad that we need something bigger than ourselves to save us. The angels didn't just save Lot physically. They saved him from being corrupted by the wickedness around him. And here's something to think about. Lot could have refused to leave. He actually hesitated at first. Sometimes the hardest part of being saved is accepting that we need to be saved in the first place, and being willing to leave behind what's familiar, even if it's toxic. The story of Lot and the angels reminds us that sometimes help comes in unexpected forms, and that salvation often requires us to take action, to get up and move, to leave behind what's destroying us, and to trust in guidance that might seem strange at first. It's a powerful reminder that no matter how dark things get, there's always hope for rescue if we're willing to accept it. Have you ever met someone who completely changed their life overnight? Well, let me tell you about Paul. Arguably the most dramatic transformation in the Bible. Picture this. A guy who literally made it his mission to hunt down and persecute Christians, suddenly becoming one of Christianity's most passionate advocates. Talk about a plot twist. This wasn't just any ordinary change of heart. Paul was on his way to Damascus, probably planning his next raid on Christian communities, when bam, he was struck blind by a divine light and heard Jesus himself. Can you imagine that moment? From being Christianity's biggest enemy to becoming its greatest messenger. Now that's what I call a career change. What makes Paul's story so incredible is that he went from writing arrest warrants to writing half of the New Testament. If that's not the ultimate redemption story, I don't know what is.
You know, when people think of the devil in the Bible, they often picture this red guy with horns and a pitchfork. But the real story? It's way more fascinating. Originally, Lucifer was actually God's most beautiful angel. Think of him as heaven's brightest star. But here's where it gets interesting. His fatal flaw was pride. He couldn't stand the idea of not being number one, and he actually thought he could be greater than God himself. Talk about a massive ego trip. It led to this epic rebellion in heaven. And well, let's just say it didn't end well for him. He was cast down from heaven faster than a shooting star, taking a bunch of other angels with him. Pretty wild how one moment of pride changed everything, right? Makes you think about how dangerous too much ego can be.
Let me tell you about one of the most incredible stories of strength from the Bible, the tale of Samson. Born with supernatural power and long flowing hair that held the secret to his strength, Samson was unlike anyone else. He once encountered a fierce lion on his path, and you know what he did? He tore it apart with his bare hands like it was nothing. But here's the twist. Samson's real strength wasn't just in his muscles. It was his faith and his special connection with God that made him truly powerful. Though he eventually lost his strength when he trusted the wrong person. His story teaches us that true strength comes from something much deeper than physical power. It comes from what we believe in and who we trust.